one of the much sought after trainers, and you will come to know what he's going to speak maybe on the basis of post-COVID scenario. Hello tomorrow. So how we should equip ourselves with the tomorrow which is going to come maybe after the post-COVID scenario. Okay. So friends, it's warm welcome to our Harish. Again, we humbly welcome to the Marian community. Marian International Institute of Management is welcoming Harish Bhai to this community for the great session. So welcome, sir. Welcome again. And over to Sneha for introducing.
Thank you, Samson, sir. Let me introduce Mr. Harish Kumar. Mr. Harish Kumar is qualified as National Trainer of JCI India in 2010, and now he is an International Trainer of JCI. He has received Most Outdoor Award in JCI India National Convention at Varanasi in 2009, and he has won JCI India, the Outstanding Trainer of JCI India. Received award Ravi Puraskar at National Convention at Surat in 2015. Mr. Harish Kumar, having 10 years of experience in training, is a competent communicator and a competent leader of Toastmasters International. It's my pleasure duty to bid you a genial welcome. Welcome you, sir. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. ഞാൻ സ്ക്രീൻ ഷെയർ ചെയ്തോട്ടെ. സ്ക്രീൻ ഷെയർഡ് ആണല്ലോ അല്ലേ?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, fine. So at the outset, thank you very much to Marian International Institute of Management for inviting me for a session like this early morning at 8:30. I would say this is the first session which I am having before 9 o'clock. Usually we used to have sessions starting at 10 o'clock and all earlier, but I think this is the first time. And yesterday I was speaking in another forum that was basically a trainers forum, and there was one person who told that the first session that he had done was at 5 a.m. in the morning. And there is something called the 5 a.m. club, the 4 a.m. club and all these days. And the programs are starting even as early as 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. these days. So I'm extremely happy that at 8:30, I am able to start a program. I will be able to tell somewhere that the earliest program I started was at 8:30, and that was at Marian Institute for International Institute of Management. Anyway, thank you very much to Samson sir for inviting me for this session. Samson sir has been a good friend of mine for a very long time. I also had an opportunity to visit your campus and been there for certain sessions a couple of years back, not recently, of course. And I can also see that in the participants list, the principal is also there, Reverend Dr. Reggie Pallur sir is there. Definitely, I will also speak to him at a later time. Right now, let us go on with the program. Okay, I hope all of you are ready, and if that is the case, we'll start. We have all heard about one particular statement in our life, and that is, past is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. Let us enjoy it. That is what has been a statement which has been going around, and especially with youngsters, this particular statement definitely was well received. For the simple reason, at least some were feeling that let us not bother about the past because it's already gone. Let us not bother too much about the future for the simple reason that it is all of mystery. And it is today that matters, and let me just enjoy my today. There is a way of looking at it that way as well. There are certain people at least who are looking at it that way. I'm sure that you people won't be looking at that way because you are all studying right now and you're all looking for a brighter future, absolutely bright future for yourself. COVID will come and go. COVID is a temporary phase. It's just like a cloud. It may be there for maybe another 4 or 5 months maximum. I believe that by 2021, everything will be clear. Some vaccine will definitely be found out because a lot of activities are happening, and we are going to have a remedy for sure. And we will be able to move on with our life in a very positive manner, maybe in another 2 months, 3 months, or maybe 6 months later. That is what we only do not know when it is going to happen. That's all. But anyway, we have a bright future ahead of us. We have been able to overcome even bigger crises in our life, maybe the world wars and so. I think even people who were there in this platform have already told you about that. So I'm not going to dwell into that much. Okay, my program today, it has been coined as Hello Tomorrow. Can somebody tell me whose tagline is this? I will just have the chat box open. Hello tomorrow is a tagline of a company. Is there anyone who will be able to help me out on that? Hello tomorrow. Whose tagline is this? Is there anyone who wants to give it a try? I know some of you will at least know.
Fly Emirates. Fly
Pardon?
Emirates.
Okay, Emirates.
Emirates,
I think, okay, fine. I was thinking about chat box. I think the chat box is open. I was expecting people to just type it down. Okay, fine. Anyway, Emirates. Okay, very good. Hello tomorrow. Okay. Let me just begin with this. I just want you to think about this. I don't want you to write. I just want, if at all you have a paper, there is absolutely nothing wrong in writing it. At least you think about it. As you think about future, what comes to your mind? If you have a pen and paper, you can write it on your paper. And otherwise, and also what I want is, even after writing, I want you to chat it into the box. When you think about future, what comes to your mind? I'm just looking for answers. Okay, I want the chat box to be full with answers. What, as you think about future, what comes to your mind? I'm looking for the answers. Come on. As you think about future, what comes to your mind? Yes, boys and girls, I'm waiting for the answers. As you think about future, when you think about your future or any the country's future or even business future or whatever it may be, as you think about future, what comes to your mind? Can I have some answers? Okay, Krishna Prabha is telling traveling. Okay, positive or negative? Traveling, you can travel, or that's what you mean to say? I don't know. Okay, unexpected. Okay, Abhinav Baby saying that it is unexpected times ahead. Okay, Vishal Lalu says that yes, it is going to be a good one, a better position, a wide scope for digital marketing. Okay, when you think about the future comes correct. Joby John says growth, a better life, what it is present. Okay, to fulfill the dreams. Okay, when you think about future, you're thinking about fulfilling the dreams. Okay, Ardra says that it is success that comes to her mind. Okay, Venus Simon says it's going to be unpredictable. Okay, okay, a good position in a well-known company. Okay, economic development, robotic world, good enough. Okay, fine. Secured life. Okay, better position, well settled, excitement. Okay. Ria Anna Thomas is excited about the future. Very good. Excitement is necessary to reach a better position in life. Necessary. Okay, success, getting a secure job, bright days full of growth and new experiences, better life and better position. Yes, these are all the positive things. Very good. Okay, secure job and fulfilling dream. Fear because it's a mystery. Very good. Deepak Rajan says that yes, there is something called a fear because it's a mystery. Okay, good. Okay. Okay. Secure job and fulfilling dream. Fear because it's a mystery. Okay. Stable, successful, happy. Okay. I'm getting both answers. Some of you are very positively thinking about future. Okay. Selvin Sunny says that face whatever happens. Okay. Fine. Very, very spiritual way of looking at it. Okay. Digital world. Okay. So of course, it is true that you are seeing, most of you are youngsters and you are seeing a bright future for yourself. It is good to see. Naturally, we need to have that positivism around. But at the same time, we also need to be aware of what is in store. Some people were telling about unexpected things might happen. Some people were saying that unpredictability could be there. But in general, whenever I ask this question, especially towards the negative side, there are certain things that come. I just want to start with it. So the first thing people say is that there is a lot of unpredictability. Is it not true? There is a lot of unpredictability about the future. We are not able to plan. I was reading a book called Rework. It's a new book. I mean, it's not a new book. It has been there for some time. It's in Rework. Rework is a book that is written by two software professionals who have made a reasonably good success in the United States of America. In that book, what they say is that long-term planning is guessing. What they say is that long-term planning is guessing. What you have to do is you should have short-term goals and you should keep on achieving and you will lead there. Because too much of unpredictability is around. You are not able to really have, even though we say that we need to have a vision, we need to have a long-term goal, it's true, but still it's more towards the short term that we need to plan. That is what the book says, because the world is becoming more and more unpredictable. Yes, so unpredictability is a problem. Uncertainty. You're not certain about the future. You're not certain what's going to happen. Even if you study this, will it be relevant tomorrow? Nobody knows. So that's kind of an uncertainty is there. Third one, unhealthy competition, which we are seeing everywhere. You ask Airtel, you ask Vodafone, they will definitely tell you what unhealthy competition is all about. Because Jio is one company which has really brought in a hell of a lot unhealthy competition for them. All of a sudden, they were in a reasonably good position. They had an understanding how to fight their war. But all of a sudden, Jio came with a strategy, and that was an unhealthy competition that really got into that space. So unhealthy competitions can be there. Mind-boggling changes. It's not the ordinary kind of changes that's going to be seen. It's going to be mind-boggling changes which will be seen in the world to come. So what is in store? Mind-boggling change. Lack of opportunities. United States of America is facing one of the biggest problems today. Unemployment rate is high. So is going to be in our country also, at least in the short span of time because of this COVID situation. Lack of opportunities. People say lack of opportunities. Yes, is it there? Let us not have a blind eye towards it. Let us face it first. Then we will see how to go about it. Not enough time. That is another problem. In the future, it's going to be more cluttered and we will not have enough time. That is what another people say that, yes, this is what is another concern. Unemployment, of course, lack of opportunities. And these are some of the real reasons or what is in store. People say in the negative or people raise as concern. And if we want to move towards a great future, if we want to have a hello tomorrow, if we have to say a hello to tomorrow, what you have to do is you will have to change this. You will have to cut the out of that predictability. You will have to remove that uncertainty to certainty. You may have to remove that unhealthy competition to healthy competition. You may have to mind-boggling change to change. You being the person who brings in that change. And you will have to change the lack of opportunities to opportunities, looking for those opportunities all the time. And not enough time, you will have to make it enough time. So you will have to control your life in such a manner that you will have time. And from unemployment, you will have to make it unemployment. This is what we will have to do. If this is what the concerns are, this is what we are supposed to do. We have to make it predictable. We have to make it certain. We have to make it healthy competition. We have to embrace change. We have to look for opportunities around. We have to create time for ourselves and we have to look for employment or we have to find employment. This is what is in store basically about. The question that has to be asked is, are you future ready? It is absolutely necessary that we have to prepare ourselves for our future. Future is not going to happen by itself. Future needs to be created. I repeat, future doesn't happen by itself. Future needs to be created. Future doesn't happen. It needs to be created. There are three kinds of people in this world. Those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. I repeat, those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. You must be in the first group of people who make things happen. There is no point in waiting for things to happen. During this COVID time, I always tell all the business people, whenever I have an opportunity, I have through seminars also, I tell, there are three options before you. 1, quit. 2, wait. 3, act. There are only 3 options before you. 1 is quit, 2 is wait, and the third one is act. If you quit, you're gone. If you wait, there is not going to be much of a future. You have to act now. That is what the necessity of the time. The question is, are you future ready? You people have to really prepare for a bright future. You people will have to really prepare for a challenging future ahead of you. It's going to be challenges around, but it is also going to be really exhilarating to be in that challenge. Because once when you come out of that challenge as winners, that is going to give you tremendous confidence. Once you get that confidence, from on that you will be able to bank on and you will be able to make a beautiful journey towards your success. Are you future ready? That's what we have to ask. So ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, what is really required is you have to believe. That believe you can, and you are halfway there. It's all about belief. It is all about belief. Anybody who has done good in this world, anybody who has done fantastically well in this world are the people who have believed in their abilities. Without belief in your abilities, you will never ever be able to go the distance you want to go. You take any success story, be it Sundar Pichai, a person who is spearheading Google. Let it be Satya Nadella, a person who is spearheading Microsoft. I'm speaking about the big guys who people have qualified as managers and who went over there. So there are people who believed in their abilities and they have become successful. I know that in this platform, there was one person who came and addressed you. I was also there to listen to him. And that person was Kochausep Chitlapilli. If at all Kochausep Chitlapilli he became successful, and he made his business of V-Guard successful, and also he made sure that the Vigaland also went on to become successful. Right now he is having a third arm, of course V-Star is his wife's business, and the last business he is having, the fourth business he is having right now, Vigaland Developers. Each and every business, if he has been able to turn it as right, it is primarily because he believed in his abilities. He believed that he will be able to make it happen. So that is what something you need to have. So on a lighter note, let me tell this, a small story. Once there was a house, and the house had something like 70 cents of land. There was a beautiful house in that particular land. And there was a gorgeous lawn in front of that house. And the people who were staying in that house had gone on a tour. There was a dog, a very good dog, big dog, bulky kind of a dog. And that came and that stood inside just at the gate. It was looking from inside to the outside. Another street dog that just walked from outside, and the street dog stopped by and they had a conversation. And the conversation went like this. The street dog which was outside said to the dog inside, "Come on, I am very, very, very sorry for you. I regret. How can you live in this particular 70 cells all your life?" Then the dog which is inside said, "You look at me and you look at yourself. I am big, I am bulky, I am strong. Why I have been able to be like this is only because my people have been taking good care about me. You look there, I have a shed over there. I will not have to worry about hot sun. I don't have to worry about rain. I am very comfortable here." And the street dog which is standing outside said, "Come on, you don't know what life is all about. Have you been to Tandoor restaurant? Have you been to, Have you been to Taj restaurant? Have you been to Abroy restaurant?" So he was speaking, and all these restaurants give you good food. You have to just wait. You have to just go backside and you will be able to get beautiful, good food from there. What you get here is only what your landlords throw it open to you. Come on, come out. The world is outside. You can have glorious food from outside. Come. He said, "I can't come. I am already inside the house. I am already locked up. I cannot come." And the dog which is standing outside, the street dog said, "There is a backside gate, and I saw right now that by mistake they have kept it slightly open. There is a small gap. This is an opportunity for you to escape." And he was indeed motivated, and he started walking towards that gate. All of a sudden, he remembered something. He came back and said the street dog, "No, I am not coming." Now the street dog understood. Street dog is a good salesman, a good marketing person. He did not want to give up, and he said, "No, let me give a try." And he just had a sales pitch, another sales pitch. And the dog said, "Why don't you come out? Have you ever been to a railway station?" The dog said, "No." "Have you ever been to a park?" "No." "Have you ever been to the riverside?" "No." "Come on, a lot of things are to be seen here. Why don't you come out?" Again, this dog was motivated and it started walking forward. After making some 10 steps, it came back and said, "Sorry, I am not coming." Now the dog which is standing outside, the street dog, understood that there is something that keeps this dog motivated to remain inside. Now the street dog asked, "Come on, tell me. I could really see that you were interested to come. You were making some steps forward. Then all of a sudden, you remembered something and you came back and said, 'I am not coming.' What is it that keeping you there?" And now the dog inside said, last week, there was a big fight between the father and the daughter here, the landlord, the owner and the daughter here. And it was about the daughter being in an affair with a boy. And he was in love, rather she was in love with Mr. John. And John is a person who is staying nearby. And this man was furious, and finally he said, even if I marry you to my dog, I am not going to let you marry that boy. Even if I ask you to marry to the dog, I am not going to allow you to marry to that boy. So the dog said that I still have a faith, or rather I still have a hope that I will be able to. So that is why I am still here. So ladies and gentlemen, there is no point in having a hope. Many people believe in hope. Hope will not take you anywhere. The hope will not take you anywhere. Only the belief is going to take you. Belief is nothing but hope with action. Belief is nothing but hope with actions. The question is, what are the action steps that you are taking today will determine where you go. Let us just see some of the things that has to be done. My topic will revolve around just 6 S. I just want to speak you about 6 factors and the 6 points, and the 6 points will start with a word called S. So the first one I will speak about, and it is speciality. If at all you want to have a glorious future, if you want to have a wonderful tomorrow, if you have to say hello to your tomorrows, what you need to do is you must believe in speciality. You must become a specialist. Okay, go to your chat box and please tell me yes or no when I ask a question. Have you ever come across a concept called hedgehog concept? Hedgehog concept. If you have come across a concept called hedgehog concept, please type yes. If you haven't, please type no. Okay. Okay, I'm getting a lot of no's from people. I'm looking for somebody, whether he knows or no. That is, I'm looking for an yes answer also. Is there anyone who knows? Okay, fine. Not an issue. Good. So I'm getting answers, honest answers that we do not know. It is true that we don't have to know everything. It is absolutely true. Okay, there is one good book I suggest you to read if possible. If you have got time, please take note of this book and make sure that you read this book. The book's name is Good to Great. Book's name is Good to Great, and the book is written by Jim Collins. I request you to write the book called Good to Great by Jim Collins. Okay, I will just type it down. Good to Great. Okay, so why you should read, I will tell you later. In that book, he speaks about companies who have been there for a very long time. Almost 100 years kind of companies like GE and all. So he has studied n number of companies with his team, and he finally zeroed into some companies, and he looked at why these companies became phenomenally successful over a long period of time. And that in that book, he speaks about a concept called a hedgehog concept. Hedgehog is an animal, a very small creature, I would say, just like porcupine. And what is a porcupine? Porcupine have big quills. And if you try to go near that, any animal that tries to attack that particular porcupine, they will have to go back with a lot of bruises around. Hedgehog is similar, but the difference is the quill will not be sharp. Like it will not stand like this. It will be more flexible, but at the end it will be sharp. And it is a small animal, a very small creature. Hedgehog is one particular creature which is loved by these foxes to eat. The foxes love to eat it, and the foxes really want to eat it. But unfortunately, the foxes never get to eat a hedgehog. The foxes never get to eat a hedgehog for the simple reason that hedgehog has a beautiful technique. The technique is it will keep its head inside and ensure that it goes like a ball. When it becomes like a ball, outside it will be all these flexible quills, and at the end it will be sharp. Whenever the fox tries to eat it, whenever the fox tries to go nearby, the fox will have bruises all around and blood all over the face rather than getting it to eat. Because the hedgehog knows one thing very well. What does it know? It knows how to protect himself well. The hedgehog does not know many things. Hedgehog knows one thing very well. That one thing is how to protect himself well. That is what the technique that is really required in this world. Hedgehog is that particular creature which you are seeing there inside. And if you have to become a hedgehog, you need to have 3 qualities. If you want to become a hedgehog in your profession, if you want to become a hedgehog as a manager, if you want to become a hedgehog as a startup guy, if you want to become a hedgehog as an entrepreneur, what you need to know is that you need to be good at these 3 things. What is the number 1? The first I will start from the left side. What you can be the best in the world at. What you can be the best in the world at is, you have to ask a question to yourself, what is your strength and what is it that I can really be good at? Is it at technology? Is it at marketing? Is it at HR? Is it at something that I can do? You must know what is your real core strength. When you know your core strength, you will be able to go about it. Let me bring one example from the sports world called Sachin Tendulkar. I know that Raghavan sir was also here. I just listened to him also 2 days back because I was sent a link because I'm also a sport fanatic. I just listened to him. He was speaking about Sachin Tendulkar. Let us take Sachin Tendulkar as an example for these 3. The number 1 is what you can be the best in the world at. Sachin Tendulkar at a very young age had talent and he knew that he will be able to make it successful. So that is one thing. Number 2, what are you deeply passionate about? Being passionate about is loving what you do. Being passionate about is nothing but loving what you do. If you have an interest, when you nurture that interest, that is passion. If you ask me what is passion, passion is nurturing your interest. A.R. Rahman nurtured his interest for music. Kochauseb Chitlepalli nurtured his interest for business. Satya Nadella nurtured his talent or his, his expertise in management. That is why he became passionate about it. Nurturing your interest is passion. Make it very clear. Nurturing your interest. So are you deeply passionate about it? And the third one, what drives your economic engine? Because that is also necessary. Because when you want to make it an income model, one thing is, are you good at? Number 1. Number 2, are you passionate about it? Number 3 is, are you able to bring out income out of that? For example, on the M.F. Hussain, somebody who has been able to draw well. Yes, he can be the very big in the world, that he can be the best in the world, that he has a talent. Number 1. Number 2, was he passionate? He was passionate about what he was doing. And number 3, he was also very passionate, but he got money also out of that. That is why he made it as profession. So these 3 things are absolutely necessary when you really want to make it your business, your startup, or your entrepreneurship, or anything for that matter. All these 3 ingredients must be there. Only when you have these 3 ingredients, you can say that you are climbing the right mountain in your life. We are all going to climb a mountain in your life. Harish as an individual has been climbing a mountain for the past 28 years. After my graduation, I joined an organization called Life Insurance Corporation of India as a development officer for past 28 years. I'm climbing that mountain pretty well with a very good team of around 75 people, and I'm very happy about my job and my career growth. And I am also having a second profession these days, and that is what training. I am also able to do well because I got 3 factors working here. Which are the 3 factors? Number 1, I believe that I will be able to be good at it. Number 1. Number 2, I'm really passionate about what I do. And the third one is, it gives me an economic engine that drives or gives me income. So the question you have to ask yourself is, before you get into anything, are you a hedgehog? You have to ask. Please look at this picture. Very small picture I have put, but you have a beautiful meaning inside that. What is written there? Can you read it for yourself? Pour yourself into your product. What is it called? pour yourself into your product. Whenever you bring out a product, be it as a professional, a chartered accountant. Suppose somebody becomes a chartered accountant, how he performs is what he puts it into his product. People go to him because of that. Let us take Philip. Satyan Andikad is one person who brings out beautiful movies, family-oriented movies. He has created a niche for himself. We usually go for movies looking at who is the director, is it not? We go for movies looking at the director. Why? Because it is the director's product. And he puts himself into that product. That is what he does. Apple is one computer, Apple Mac computers or Apple phones. People buy, even now when they buy, there is a picture in their mind, the picture of a person who has already left for God's abode. Steve Jobs. Whenever you are buying a computer, whenever you are buying a Windows operating system, a person's picture comes into your mind, Bill Gates. Is it not? When you buy a V-Guard, when you think about V-Guard, Kocha Usep Chitlapalli comes to your mind. So the question is, whenever you think about something, a product or anything, whether that face also comes to your mind. If that face comes to your mind, it is pour yourself into your product. I stay at Tripunithura, a place called Peta only I stay. In Peta Junction, there is one shop by Swami. It's called Swami's Sweet Shop. I've been living in this place for the past 28 years. I belong to Chalakudi, but I'm settled down in this Peta, Ernakulam. So this particular shop has been there for 28 years. Whenever I think about buying sweets, be it Mysore Pak, be it Laddu, be it Jalebi or whatever sweet, the first and foremost name that comes to my mind is this Swami. The Swami's face will come into your mind because Swami's impact is there in each and every sweet item that I eat. Because that Midas touch is there. There is another business model I can speak about is in Ernakulam, Kadavandra, there is one Kalyana Mandapam. And the Kalyana Mandapam's name is Vinayaka Kalyana Mandapam. Vinayaka Sami, Anandaraman Sami was a small time caterer. From that, he has really grown into a very big businessman. Now Vinayaka sends everyday morning pickle, kalan, and many items in packets to Gulf. In the Gulf, in all these bakeries and restaurants, they will be available. Even payasams, which is made by Vinayaka Sami, will be available in Gulf because he exports it everyday morning. It goes in the morning there. So what Vinayaka means, Anandaraman Sami's picture comes. So put yourself into your product. So really make sure that your style and your touch is there in everything that you do. That is something which you have. Do more with less. This is something which we have to understand very well as you go along in your life. What is this do more with your less? Do more with less. Imagine that you are in a restaurant, a good big restaurant. Suppose you have a buffet spread. Buffet spread means you have got a lot of choices, is it not? When you go to a restaurant, you order for food and you wait and you have it. But if you go for a buffet, suppose you are walking into Taj Mahal Palace Hotel for a buffet. Let us imagine that. You're getting the chance in Bombay. You're going there. And it's a huge spread over there. And you will start from different kind of soups. Then you will get into items galore. Be it rice items, be it bread items. Then you get into a lot of non-veg items. You get into vegetarian items. You get into many items. If you take a plate, go from one point to the last point, one by one taking, what will happen is your plate will become so big and it will be so high that you will not be able to enjoy it because what you really want to enjoy may be down under the dirt. So what you are supposed to do in a buffet is go on a buffet tour to begin with. What is a buffet tour? Travel starts from the first point to the end point. Just look at each item which is on offer. What you have to do is you have to go on a buffet tour. Start from the first item to the last item. Just see and just watch and go till the end. Then come and pick the plate. Then go and pick items which you really love to relish on. Just concentrate on few items. Identify maybe 5 or 6 items out of the glorious buffet available and just focus on them. That's what wise thinking is all about. There is absolutely no need for you to eat what is available at your home every day. So select the items which are not or which are exclusive and exquisite for you and just focus on them. And that is what we call is do more with less. I don't know all of you are Malayalis, but at least the Malayalis here will be able to understand this when I ask this question. നിറച്ചു കാര്യങ്ങൾ കുറച്ചു ചെയ്യണമോ കുറച്ചു കാര്യങ്ങൾ നിറച്ചു ചെയ്യണമോ എന്നൊരു ചോദ്യം. What is it? നിറച്ചു കാര്യങ്ങൾ കുറച്ചു ചെയ്യണമോ കുറച്ചു കാര്യങ്ങൾ നിറച്ചു ചെയ്യണമോ എന്നാണ് ചോദ്യമെങ്കിൽ wise people will do കുറച്ചു കാര്യങ്ങൾ നിറച്ച്. That means they will do only lesser number of items, but they will do more of that. There is absolutely no point in being a jack of all trades. Be a master of some. Don't try to be a jack of all trades. Try to become a master of some. Specialize. You need to have few things that you want to concentrate on. Identify when you want to become a future manager, when you want to become a future entrepreneur, when you want to become a real startup guy, or you want to get into business, that don't try to do many things. You try to do few things, but do those few things pretty well. Even after being in business for so long, we can say that some companies will remain as maybe 1 or 2 or 3 verticals. They will not be just going everywhere. It is dangerous to diversify mindlessly. I word used mindlessly. You have to diversify, but you have to diversify wisely, not mindlessly. I can speak to you about one company which really goofed it up. The company's name is Vadilal Ice Cream. I remember while I was a child, while I was studying in my college days, whenever I have been to abroad, for example, not abroad, I mean to say Goa, Bombay, or some places like that, some other states, Vadilal ice cream has been one very favorite ice cream that I used to try because they were doing exceptionally good ice creams. It was available in western part of India particularly, Vadilal ice cream. But later on, Vadilal went out of business, or rather their business really tumbled up. They really went down. The reason was, at that particular time, they felt that real estate is a great opportunity and they took a lot of money out of Vadilal and put it into real estate business. And then real estate did not really pick up, and ultimately they lost both real estate as well as their Vadilal ice cream. Later they realized and they came back and they concentrated on Vadilal and they were able to forge ahead, but they were not able to forge ahead had they stayed back properly there. So what I mean to say is that mindless diversification is not right. Don't try to put your head into everything. That is why Jack Ma said. Who is Jack Ma? Can somebody tell me who is Jack Ma? Jack Ma is whom? Who's Jack Ma? Jack Ma? How come you know Jack Ma? Okay, very good. Daniel Tomey says that Alibaba. Correct. Perfectly right. Okay, now I'm looking. No, don't look. He was the first person to say. Alibaba.com was founded by Jack Ma. And what Jack Ma said is that don't chase too many rabbits. What he said is don't chase too many rabbits. Why did he say so? What he said is that suppose you walk into a place, I walk into a room. In that room, suppose there are 100 rabbits. And you want to catch one rabbit, you go after one rabbit. Rabbits are too busy and brisk and they will not stay, they will just move away. So when you turn your attention to another rabbit, you focus on that and you keep moving towards that. Then again, will it stay? It will also go away, dodge and go away. At that particular time, you turn your focus to the third one. You keep on changing your focus, and ultimately what happens is you will never ever be able to get even a single one in your pocket. So what Jack Ma says is, when you keep your eyes on one business, just give full focus towards that. Just go after that. Make sure that you really have it in your kitty. You have made good systems and ensured that it is in place, and then only look for the next one. That's what he says. Do more with less. So that is something which we have to do. Now, let me just, in speciality, I want to ask you some questions. I want your chat box answers. What is one thing you want to be known in the market for? The first thing, Cafe Coffee Day. Of course, Cafe Coffee Day is right now not doing that great, primarily because their CEO or the founder committed suicide because of the financial mess he got into. But this was a wonderful, successful story. There is no doubt. I really hope that Cafe Coffee Day will be able to get back into its glorious positions even now. One place I love to go to. So a lot can happen over coffee is their tagline. Can somebody tell me, when you think about Cafe Coffee Day, what does it give? What does it give? Something that it gives. Can you think about? What does Cafe Coffee Day will give you? When you walk into a Cafe Coffee Day shop, what do you get? That's what I want to know. Or even let it be Starbucks coffee. When you walk into a Starbucks coffee, what will you get? Come on, let me have the answers. Any answers? Same quality, very good. Mithun Shibu says that same quality, good enough, very good. Okay, Abhi Krishnan V. Nair says that it is satisfaction. Okay, good. Okay, fine, good. I would like to have some answers. I don't want correct answer, what I'm going to tell. But at least I want you to think. What happens when you walk into, if at all you have been into something like a Cafe Coffee Day, or if you walk into a Starbucks coffee, imagine that when you go there and sit and have that, what are you really getting? You're getting satisfaction, you're getting same quality, you're getting utility, you're getting trust, you're getting comfort zone, perfectly good, comfort zone, okay, you get into a comfortable place, okay, you get into happiness, you get into service, excellent, you get into good environment, very good, Mithun Raj is very correct, okay, good environment, Sneha Manuel, feeling good, of course, feeling good, ambience, very good, ambience and best Pushino, okay, that privacy, service, satisfaction, okay, wonderful. Okay, I'm getting the answers. I'm getting a mind free. Yes, Selvian Sunny says that mind free. Yes, boys and girls, it's nothing but yes, whatever you have said comes in this. It is experience. It is experience. They say that we are here to give exceptionally good experience to the people who walk into our shops. They are providing experience. What is the speciality a company called Cafe Coffee Day or a Starbucks coffee offer you when you walk into their shop is they give you an experience. What experience? Unforgettable experience. Ever memorable experiences. That is what everybody has to try. So that is what the hedgehog. Cafe Coffee Day's hedgehog is experience. Okay, what does this give? Come on, there are a lot of boys would be crazy about this particular vehicle. I am sure. I am sure that even girls are crazy these days. There is no doubt about that. What will bullet? When you ride a bullet, when you own a bullet, what does it give? Come on, let me have answers. Just like the answers you gave for Cafe Coffee Day. What is it that when you own a bullet or when you own an Enfield that you get? Okay, Krishna says that yes, it is excitement, a royal feel, royalty. Good, let me have it. Very good. Answers are pretty good. Feel, comfort, confidence, feel supreme. Okay, you feel great, you feel supreme. Comfort, happiness, okay, of owning that. Comfortable, feels great. Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, save right, pride. Very good. Okay. Deepak Rajan. Okay, wonderful answer. That's perfectly right. I was also thinking about the same thing only. It's pride. Owning that is considered as a pride. The pride of being in the club of Enfield goers or Enfield owners. So pride is one thing that really happens. So what is the hedgehog of a company called Royal Enfield? Eicher is the company that brings out Royal Enfield. What is their hedgehog? That is pride. That is a speciality. That's what the hedgehog is all about. Okay, now what does Apple give? Come on, let me have two more and then I will go. Okay, what will Apple give? Come on. I think I am going to get answers. There is no doubt about that. Okay, value. Very good. Okay, value for money. Even though you're paying more, you will get good value. More safety features. Good. Status. Very good. Status. Very good. Okay. People keep it for status. A lot of people. There is no doubt about that. Best quality in the world. Okay, best in the world. Very good. Okay, good answer. Very good. Okay, come on. Let me have some more answers. Total privacy, brand value. That's wonderful. Satisfaction, quality product, satisfaction. Okay, fine. Okay, very good. Okay, fine. Okay, I got some answers and I will just go about it. Okay, fine. So what it really gives you is something called uniqueness. That is why they always say be different. Uniqueness, because nobody can easily copy them. It is always said that make it difficult for your competitor to copy you. Apple is able to do that. Make it difficult for your competitors to copy you. And you keep a niche market for yourself, which is, what is an outlier? There's a book called Outlier kind of an attitude. That's what. And what does comes to your mind when you see a brand called Dhoni? What is Dhoni is all about? When you think about Dhoni, what happens to you? Okay, Captain, cool, calm, cool, very good. Okay, fine, you're getting it. You are getting it. Good finisher, legendary. Okay, guy. Okay, leader, cool. Okay, good man. Okay, very good. Okay, fine. So the answer is pretty good, which you have already given: calm, composed, and collected. Whenever Dhoni comes to our mind, what comes to our mind is very calm, composed, and collected by. So friends, so I was just speaking about the most important quality that is really required if you want to go about. And the first S is called speciality. And the speciality is all about knowing your hedgehog. The hedgehog means three things you have to ask yourself. Are you really excited? Do you think that you will be able to make it really begin what you're doing? That is something that you have to ask. Number two, are you really loving or will you be passionate about what you're doing? And the third one is, will you do? Number two, make sure that your magic is there in it. Your persona is in it. That is definitely to be maintained. When you speak about a company called Tata, Ratan Tata's face comes to your mind. So that is what really required. That has to be done. Do more with less. Don't be a master of many things. Try to become a master of some. And of course, this is what the hedgehog you must also be looking. You must have your own uniqueness. You must have your own speciality. That is what has to be done. Now we'll look at the second thing. If you want to make it big tomorrow, you have to concentrate on something that is going to be scarce tomorrow. You have to concentrate on scarcity. The resources are going to be scarce tomorrow, is it not? Can you type which are the resources that's going to be scarce tomorrow? What is going to be scarce tomorrow? Think about your think. Let me just have some answers. What do you think are going to be scarce in the tomorrow's world? What is going to be scarce? Fuel is going to be scarce. Petroleum is going to be scarce. Perfectly right. Water is going to be scarce. Manpower is going to be scarce. Manpower is going to be there, but a skilled manpower is going to be scarce. Okay. Water is going to be scarce. Okay, fine, good. May I have some more answers? Some good answers. Employment opportunities are going to be scarce. You have to create opportunities. You are the people who are studying and you have to create opportunities for others. Future life. Okay, future life is going to be scarce. Okay. Jobs are going to be scarce. Fresh environment is going to be scarce. It's going to be more polluted like Delhi. That's what people mean to say. Okay. Knowledge is going to be scarce. Very good. Knowledge is going to be scarce. Natural environment is going to be scarce. Skilled employees is going to be scarce. Fresh air is going to be scarce. Okay. Okay. Fine. Good. So I got some answers. Good answers. Okay. Fine. Good. Okay. Fine. Okay. Now I will go. Scarcity. Yes. What you said is right. There are going to be many things scarce. Many resources will be scarce tomorrow. Alleviate, reduce, or substitute, and you are in for a glorious future tomorrow. Take these three words I put. These are the three guiding factors for any entrepreneur. These are the three guiding factors for anybody who wants to get into any startup in this world. Can you alleviate tomorrow's scarcity? Can you reduce tomorrow's scarcity? Can you substitute tomorrow's scarcity? Can you alleviate means, if at all there is going to be a huge shortage, if at all you make sure that that is not at all required. If at all you can alleviate that scarcity part, can be substituted with something else which can take its place, automatically you are in a huge business opportunity. M-sand. You know that for construction, you need to have gravel. But nowadays, from the rivers, you are not able to take out the gravel just like that. M Sand is a company that is able to really bring it, and they have got a new kind of sand which people are using for construction. They were able to substitute. Electricity. If you have to have electricity, water is really required. Where water is not required, they had some other substitute that was brought in. Right now, solar has got a tremendous future. Primary reason is other resources which can turn into electricity are slowly depleting. But solar is available in abundance. If you are able to have beautiful, affordable, I am saying the second word, beautiful, affordable solar power generators, there is going to be a huge future for that. The most important thing is affordability. Nowadays, why people are a bit resistant to take up into solar or go into solar is because it's not affordable. If you are a person who is able to bring in affordable ones, people are going to take it. We know something called a BP checking apparatus. We also know something called a sugar check, diabetes checking apparatus. Earlier, we never used to have that. We had to go to hospitals and do that. They had some complicated machines to do that. Even BP, they have got something like pumping up and they will have all these things. But right now, it is very easy. You can do it at home. You were able to bring in a substitute, a personalized model with limited cost that you have to pay, and people were there to buy it. So my question is, can you bring items or products that can alleviate tomorrow's scarcity? Let me just tell you, you said water. Drinking water is going to be in shortage. There is absolutely no doubt about that. As Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam said, the next wars can be for water. Yes, it's going to happen. Drinking water, potable water is going to be less. So that is where alleviation of it will be required. How it can be substituted? There is a lot of water available in the sea. If at all you can have a beautiful technique that can be developed to desalinate at a lesser rate. Right now, desalination is a very costly procedure. If at all you are able to think out of the box and you are able to bring some solution towards that, you are going to make it really jackpot. You're going to hit a jackpot. So the question is, can you look and see which are the risks, which are going to be scarce tomorrow? What are the things that are going to be scarce tomorrow? You have to see. Good air, somebody already said. If you can have an instrument, we are used to wearing masks these days, is it not? Think about a mask. Where is a little bit of a filtering technique is there. I think there is already one on the side. It is there. There is a little bit, but more sophisticated, more what you can say effective one. If at all you are able to develop front side or some side, you have got some proper filtering is there. And even when you walk in that place, if you are able to have very good air, you can breathe because you wear this. People are going to wear it for sure. There is no doubt about it. So can you bring out something new in that domain? You are going to be in business. So think about what is going to be in scarcity tomorrow. What is going to be scarce tomorrow? Nobody wrote this, but this is one thing which is going to be scarce tomorrow. Time. Time is going to be scarce tomorrow because you don't have 24 hours is not enough. That's what people are going to say. You ask anywhere, any successful businessman, anybody who is a successful professional, they will say time is not there. 24 hours is not enough. That's what they say. If time is not there, if at all you can do something that can save them time, I repeat, in a very cluttered, timeless world, if you are able to give something to them that can save their time, it's going to be in huge demand. Let me tell you one small example. Low-cost airlines have become phenomenally successful in the last decade or two. That revolution was brought by a company called Air Deccan, which is not there in relevance now. But Air Deccan was started by Captain Gopinath. Captain Gopinath only started a great revolution in traveling. I remember in 1996, I got married. And soon after marriage, I wanted to go on a tour. I wanted to go to Bombay, Pune, Lonavala and all those areas because I had some friends also to meet there. So I just decided to go. At that particular time in 1996, there was no full airport in Cochin. Only that naval airport was there. I had to go all the way from Ernakulam to Trivandrum to get a flight. That was an Air India flight, and I just went by Air India flight to Mumbai. For my travel, for 2 people, I remember I paid 8,500 rupees one side. So 8,500 rupees per one side I had to pay those days. Right now, after all these years, after all this erosion in money value, actually right now we should be paying 4 times or 5 times. But instead we are paying 2,300, 2,500 rupees and flying from here to Mumbai. Why? It's because they have been able to bring, there was something called a scarcity. What was that scarcity? Number of vehicles were less and the cost was high. And when Air Deccan came in, they were able to reduce it. I was able to save a lot of time. Earlier, Bombay Jayanti Janata, there was one train. If I have to get into that train, it will take 40 hours for me to go from Ernakulam to Mumbai. Right now, if I want to go to Mumbai, more or less the same price, I can travel by air and I will be able to reach there in hardly 2 hours. And this has indeed saved time for me because time is money. There is no doubt about that. So anything that you can give to save time, it's going to be in demand. You know one company by the name ID Fresh Foods, right? You might have heard about it. What is ID Fresh Foods? ID Fresh Foods is from Bangalore and that company is Idli Dosha Fresh Foods. ID is nothing but Idli Dosha. And they are the people who started off in the business called Idli Batter. And right now they are into many areas like parotas, chapatis, vadas and all other things they make. Ready to cook food. What is it called? Ready to cook food. Ready to cook food is a huge business opportunity. Why? Because husbands and wives do not have time. Now both of them are working. And when they come home after work, maybe they come at 8 o'clock or 8:30, they just stop by a supermarket, they get one chapati packet and just come. And then it becomes very easy for them to make it. So what happens is ready to cook food is also to save time. Remote, it is to make you easy, is it not? So a lot of things, whatever you can bring in to save time, it's going to be of great demand. So help people save time and you are going to be in the demand. One more thing, let me just tell you another example. So, okay, fine. Okay, welcome to that. Knowledge will be scarce, invest in it. Right now, you people are studying in a beautiful institution. Study as much as possible. Not just from the textbooks alone. Try, browse and learn from other companies and the way they are doing. If you have a library, make the very best use of it. Because the more knowledgeable you are, it's going to be of great demand to you tomorrow. Because knowledge workers are going to be less. Skilled workers are going to be less. Upskilling is something the government of India is speaking about. But it will take a lot of time. You have to be the person who has the knowledge and skill and you are going to be in huge demand. There is absolutely no doubt about it. The whole world wants you. The whole world has become a global village. You can go anywhere and work. You can give anywhere and service. That is what the Sundar Pichais and the Satya Nadallas tell us. The whole world is an opportunity right now. So knowledge will be scarce, invest in it. Of course, money is going to be scarce. There is no doubt about it. Money is going to be scarce. If you can give people advice how to save money right, how to keep money right, how to grow their money right, there is going to be a huge demand for this. Money is going to be scarce. You have to. If you know, right now you know that what is the rate of interest in fixed deposits. The fixed deposit rates have gone down dramatically. State Bank of India for a 5-year and above fixed deposit gives you just 5.3% interest. 5.3% interest. So suppose somebody has money and if you can give good advice how to save at a higher rate without much of risk, you are going to be in demand. You are going to be in demand. Number 2, if you are doing MBA finance, I'm just speaking one example. Another thing is that money is available at a very low rate of interest. That's an opportunity for you. Right now, the loans are available at 8%, 8.5%, 9%. It's a wonderful time to start business. Think about in the positive line like that. Money is going to be scarce, but money is also going to be an opportunity. Make the very best use of it. So invest in your scarcity. Invest in what is going to be scarce. Time, I said one more thing. Let me just tell you. Nowadays, we have got one-day delivery, Amazon Prime. If you're an Amazon Prime member and you want to book something and you want to get something tomorrow morning, that is available for you. You have a courier and you want it to be delivered in the office this night or tomorrow morning. It is available. Same day delivery is available, or next day morning delivery is available. So time is everything now. You have to really work on that. So I said 4 things here. Let me just scarcity. One is always look for what is going to be scarce. Alleviate, reduce, or substitute, and you are in for a glorious future. Number 2, whatever can save time, invest in that. You are going to have a glorious future. Number 3, knowledge is going to be scarce tomorrow. Be much more knowledgeable and skillful. You are going to be in demand. Money is going to be scarce tomorrow. Learn how to make it more, how to help people to save it more well, and also where to find money at a lesser rate so that the business people can be benefited. So that is what you have to do. The third one is simplify. We are going to the third CS, and the third is called simplification. There is a huge demand and need for simplification. And what I say is called democratization. There is a book by the name Simplify. I forgot the writer's name. I have read it. It's a good book to read again. I am just giving you some more ideas. So when you get time, read. Simplify is a book that has to be read. It's for business people. It's for people who are getting into entrepreneurship. Simplify is a book in which he says that how we can democratize products. Classic example is food. There was a time when whenever we want to have a car, we used to order for that. They was customized and given to you. Democratization is nothing but assembly line production. When assembly line production came, cars were manufactured in one shape, one set of qualities, and they were able to give it at much lesser prices. Right now, you look at a car, for example, let it be Maruti Alto or Maruti Dzire. The Maruti Dzire, each and every piece will remain the same. It's all standardized. That is what democratization, it is assembly line production that they were able to bring. Democratization, another one, McDonald's. McDonald's will have beautiful place, but once you go there, you will be able to get even burgers available for 80 rupees, 100 rupees. Prices are very less. If you look at the menu card, you will see that the number of items on the menu card is less. Only few items are there. But those items, wherever you go, be it Calcutta, be it Bombay, be it Chennai, be it here in Ernakulam, you will be getting the same quality. That is what democratization is all about. You are dealing in quantity and you are able to give the same quality everywhere at a very less price. Democratization. Think in those lines. Can you democratize? Can you give it to more people? Sanitizers have become democratized now because of COVID-19. Everybody is in their pocket will be having one pocket size sanitizer these days because it has become a habit now. Democratization has happened. So the question is, can you democratize many things? Mobile phones were democratized because mobile phones from the earlier rates came down and it was simplified and democratization happened. The question is, can you democratize something? You are in for a huge future. You are in for a wonderful future. Big problems have small solutions. Is it not? Big problems have small solutions. You have a big problem, but you need to find small solutions for that. You need to really find. A big problem that happened was Phanindra Sama. Phanindra Sama was the founder of an organization called Red Bus. Phanindra Sama was working in Bangalore and he was working in an IT company. He had a huge job and he was not able to know if he will be able to go for Diwali and join his family at Hyderabad. But the earlier day evening, Deepavali's earlier day evening, he went to a shop, he went to a bus office and said, I would like to travel to Hyderabad. Could you give me a seat? They said, all the seats are booked. He went from there to another place which was half a kilometer away. From there, when he reached there, they said, we had a seat and the bus left only 5 minutes back. From there, he ran to another shop. They said, we don't have a seat. Like that, that night, he was running from pillar to post. And by the time he finally managed to get a seat and he traveled almost 5 to 6 hours, had lost. And when he reached Hyderabad, it was next day afternoon. He could not be there in the morning to be with his parents for the Diwali. He was very unhappy. And he asked a question to himself, why did this happen to me? And the first answer that came to his mind was, it is only because you fool, you did not book it early. He again thought, there are hundreds of people like me who cannot book early because of the business pressure or the work pressure. We can't plan everything in advance. And then he asked, why? People like me would have suffered yesterday. Why did I suffer? And he asked a question to himself, that why kept on he asking? And finally he got the answer. It was because he didn't have information. What is the answer? It is only because he didn't have information. What is the information? Which bus does not have seat? Which bus has a seat? It is only because I didn't have the information that I could not do that. I could not really get into that bus. So he decided to create a platform where all the information was available. Now, if you have to travel from Ernakulam to Bangalore by Volvo buses, all the Kallada buses will be there in the red bus platform. All, what is it called? A lot of buses are running around, Sun or whatever it may be. Every bus will be available. You will have information which bus has and you will be able to book. And they get around 5% and that is enough. That's a business model. Big problems have small solutions. Let's understand. So friends, scratch your own itch. Scratch your own itch. When you have an itch, what you have to do? You have to scratch it yourself. Nobody else will come and scratch it for you. You have to scratch it yourself. That is what is the most important. What are the problems that we face? We have to understand. If at all we are able to solve that problem, yes, it is there. You are in business. Samson sir recently in one program was showing one beautiful item. I really was fascinated about it. Google brought it out. And that was people who have Alzheimer's. A spoon that can be used. A spoon will be a vibrating kind of a spoon. That vibration which is there in that spoon at the end will adjust the vibration of the hand. And it will make it steady and you will be able to keep it and have it. So that was one scratching of an itch. Somebody would have observed that, okay, these people have this problem. How can I solve that problem? And that led to that. Scratch your own itch. If you have a problem, if you are able to find it out that, and then you will be able to. Suzlon is one company which is not doing that great now. Agreed. But Suzlon started a revolution. The revolution is, what is it called? Windmills or wind power turbines. And the Suzlon company actually was not into this earlier. They were into textiles. Tulsi Tanti is the name of the person who had that business. And the main problem they faced in Maharashtra during those times was that electricity was erratic. When the electricity supply was erratic, the problem was that many an hour it will not be there, which will not be there, supply will not be there. Their production used to be disturbed. So they had to resort to generators to run the factory. Doing with generators was very costly. The oil cost was too much. They looked for various options, but unfortunately they were not able to really do well because this cost was adding up to the production cost and finally their bottom lines were getting affected. But one day he thought, I will have to invest in something. It's a huge investment and that is going to be the wind turbines, and they invested in it. But maybe the initial expense was more, but over a period of time, 4 or 5 years, they were able to retrieve that, and then they never ever faced this electricity erratic supply problem, and they were able to run their business well. And Tulsi Tanti asked a question to himself, I had this problem, I scratched my own itch. Don't you think there are other industries which are suffering exactly the same itch? Why can't I make it a business model? And they got into a business, and that is what is called the windmill business, and that is what Suzlon came into being. You have to scratch your own itch. There is absolutely no doubt about that. So let us understand that that is where business is all about. If you have to be in good business, if you want to be a good solution provider, what is really required is you have to see and you have to keep on looking what are the pain points of people. What are the pain points of people? And what I am showing you is a small example of something that was started, a startup company that was started in Bangalore by the name Kickstart Taxi. What is it called? Kickstart Taxi. Kickstart Taxi have small vehicles like this. It is to cater to senior citizens. It is to cater to people who have physical problems. And you can just see one vehicle over there. And that lady is able to travel only on that. It will be difficult for her to get down from that and get into a seat, onto a seat. So this particular vehicle helps that senior citizens and also people have got physical disabilities who can travel. You can say this is something called the Uber for disabled people. And this must have definitely happened only because the owner of the company, the founder of the company, the startup guy of that company have seen some relative of him, could be his parents or somebody, facing this very difficult situation in the life. He would have definitely seen this pain and asked the question, how can I alleviate the pain? I said one word, alleviate. How can I alleviate the pain of some of the people who are suffering in this world? And that is the birth of a new business model called Kickstart Taxi. Ladies and gentlemen, keep looking for pain points. Boys and girls, keep looking for pain points. That is where your business opportunity is. And if you have to really do this, if you have to simplify, what you have to do is you have to go into 3 levels of innovation. I'm not going to speak much on this because this is something you will be learning in your management classes day in and out. I know that. So the first one is incremental innovation. Incremental innovation is improving on what you are already doing. Can somebody type an example for incremental innovation? Can somebody type an example for incremental innovation? What is incremental innovation? Improving on what you are already doing. I don't want to give answers here. You please tell me. Improving on what you are already doing, incremental innovation. Can somebody type? Okay, driving, what do you mean? Okay, incremental innovation. Okay, fine. Then what? Something, business, put it into business parlance. Some examples you can tell. What is happening in the business world you can tell. Improving on what you are already doing, incremental innovation. Can somebody tell? Arts, okay. Mobile phones, yes, incremental innovation happened there. We had the dumb old phones and it moved into something called the smartphones. Very good. Watches, incremental innovation happened there. Yes, earlier it was only to see the time and now it became watches, Colgate toothpaste. They bring in small innovations, correct? Salt will be there, some taste will be there. Automotive industry, automobile industry, definitely there has been a lot of innovations, incremental innovation. ABS is an innovation. What is it called? Airbag is an innovation. Food sector, there has been a lot of innovations. Yes, flavors and so on. Pen, there has been innovation. Internet, there has been innovation. Television, of course, there has been innovation. Very good. Robots to humanoid. Okay, fine. That is an innovation. E-commerce platforms, innovations, of course, incremental. Is it incremental? Okay, fine. It is also incremental, but it is more towards the second part. E-commerce. Okay, mobile providers. Okay, fine. Good. Now please give me the second one. Please give me answers for the second one. I want to see the second one. Please. The second one, radical innovation. Radical innovation is a new product or process or a service that completely replaces an existing one. Don't go by the word exactly replaces an existing one. Completely. Forget that completely word. It need not be completely. 4G. Okay, 4G, radical innovation. 3G is going out. Online education, of course, online education to a great extent. That product is what is it called? The classroom kind is being. Even now, what we are seeing is something called the Zoom-based training. It is slightly having a new product or a process or a service that is replacing an existing one. Satellites, okay. Netflix, very good, excellent. Okay, our cinema halls are being by Netflix, and I have got Netflix and Amazon now, and every day evening one cinema these days happening because this is one way to relax stress. Okay, that is good. Okay. Okay, online banking, of course, it's a radical innovation. Online shopping, industry resolution. Very good. So a lot of examples are coming. Let me have the last one. Of course, let me have the last one. Where is Uber coming here? Uber, whether it is disruptive innovation or the second one, radical. Can please tell me, Uber, is it radical innovation or disruptive innovation? I want an answer. Uber, is it radical or is it only a disruptive innovation? Okay, somebody says it is disruptive. Okay, disruptive. Okay, honestly, it is not disruptive. Because honestly, it is not disruptive means, of course, it is also industries. If at all it has to be disruptive, what it has to do is it has to affect other industries. That is what it is called. I would say low-cost airlines was the disruptor because it started affecting another industry. Which is the industry that was affected? Railways was affected. Uber, yes, to some extent it is affecting because auto rickshaw industry is affected. True. But still it is more of radical innovation. Because it is actually a new product that is replacing an existing one. We used to call taxis from the stand. That was replaced there. That is what really happened. But there are a lot of other disruptive ones in this world. Because other industries get really affected. That is what is called the disruption is all about. As you said, even online, I would say it is not just an incremental one. Online education is disrupting the classroom education. That is also a disruptive one. What is changing? What is really making the other one not being relevant? Solar, if at all, it is able to replace. It's slowly in the path of a disruption. So disruption really happens everywhere. Even Airbnb is a classic example for disruptive innovation. What is happening is the other hotel rooms are getting affected. Airbnb is taking a room from my house and letting it out. If at all I have an extra room, I am able to let it out through Airbnb. And what happens is it is a disruption. It is disrupting the other industry called hoteliers. So we have to look at that. So ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to spend much of time here. You know this because this is your domain. But there are three kinds of innovation. You must remember that is incremental. Okay, let me just finish here. Simplification is very important. Democratization. Big problems have small solutions. Scratch your own itch. Look for the pain points and go for these three kinds of innovations. And all these three innovations have got relevance. Improving, which is already there. Replacing with another one. And completely wiping off some industries and going. Disruptive innovations. Computers disrupted typewriters. Is it not? That is one disruption that happened. Even emails are disrupting the post offices. Now let us move into speed. The next three, I will move a bit more fast. It is the survival of the fastest, whether you like it or not. We usually used to say survival of the fittest. Sorry. Now the world has changed. It is the survival of the fastest. Only the survival of the fastest will be able to move. Future depends on the speed at which we do things. Remember, we evolve or we dissolve. Future depends on the speed at which we do things. Remember, we evolve. We either evolve or we dissolve. We wither away. So it is necessary that you need to have the speed. Speed is the new currency of business. Mark Benioff says. It is absolutely true. Speed is the new currency. Things are happening at a breathtaking pace. The changes in the business space is very fast. Until you are fast and furious, you will never be able to be in real kind of business scenarios, be it as an entrepreneur or as a manager. So speed of competition, let us understand the competition is tremendous. I told you one example right at the beginning, that is Jio. When Jio came and offered us free data, all of us really took it. And what happened was that Vodafone got affected, Airtel got affected, Idea got affected, BSNL really got affected. And finally, you see that the competition has been immense. But Airtel was able to really do their act together fast. They also got into the same competition. The speed at which they were able to really respond to Jio made them really, really do well also. So whenever there is a competition comes, you also need to be equally fast in being competitive. You need to really. COVID situation, you need to be really competitive. And COVID is going to do one thing. Some real big companies are going to be flattened, or they are going to plateau. The companies, their growth is going to plateau. When they're going to plateau, it is also an opportunity for newcomers to really have an ascent and ensure that they also reach up to the plateaued old companies. Speed of change. Change need to be at a breathtaking pace. There is no doubt about it. You can't wait for long. I always ask this question in my programs. When is the best time to change? When is the best time to change? I get answers from people. But the truth of the matter is many people change when it becomes absolutely necessary. Many people change only when it becomes absolutely necessary. When there is no other way, they think about changing. They will not be able to. By that time, everyone else would have changed. The speed of change tells you, you need to change when no one has started changing. You must be the harbinger of change. You must be the person who brings in the change first. You must be the trendsetter. When you are able to bring in that change early, you will be the winner. The question is, are you able to change fast? There is an old example, but still it has got relevance. Toyota is one company which had one model that was selling well. That was called Qualis. Qualis was a big carrier of around 7 people can travel in that vehicle. Qualis was selling well. But all of a sudden, one day, Toyota said, no more production of Qualis. And we are changing over to Innova. And they brought a new product. They completely stopped Qualis and moved over to a new model. When they were asked, when their CEO was asked, why are you doing this? They said, we know Qualis is selling well, but it is reaching its end of its shelf life. What is the usage? They said, it is reaching the end of its shelf life. And they moved over to Innova, and that became a huge success. Of course, they had incremental innovation in that product. Every 3 years, 4 years, they were bringing in new model. Right now, the Innova is a new model called Krista. So they are people who keep on changing fast. The question is, are you able to bring in that change? Then only. Third one is speed of service. Speed of service. There is a company called Zappos.com in United States of America. Zappos, Zappos.com. I ask you to please type down or write down that word called Zappos.com and check it in the Google later. Zappos.com is a company which is in selling e-commerce business. But what do they sell? They sell chappals, they sell shoes, they sell bags, only in that domain. A few dress items also they sell. They are not like the Amazon selling anything and everything. They are into only these few areas. But this company came into vogue earlier and they are doing phenomenally well. They sell almost 5% of the shoes which are being sold in United States of America. Can you imagine? Shoes is something which we will wear, feel, and then buy. But they were able to bring in tremendous because the philosophy of each and every employee of that company is every day create wow experience. WOW, we call wow. Their philosophy in that company is create that wow feeling. If an order is being made at 10 o'clock in the night, that I would like to have this size shoes from this company, next day morning, excuse me, hello?
Hello, sir. Actually, we have 5 more minutes. Just a reminder.
Hello?
Hello?
Tell me.
Sir, we have 5 more minutes.
Okay, fine. I'm just ending towards that. Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. Okay. Okay, fine. So what happens is this particular company was able to do well because the next day morning they were able to really deliver. So how fast you can deliver, that is what speed of technology. I don't have to speak. You people are living in technology and the speed at which we are able to do things. That is what. Okay. So ladies, this is something which everyone knows. Amazon did not kill the retailers, bad customer service and experience did. So focus on that. Apple did not kill the music industry, being forced to buy full-length albums did. Netflix did not kill blockbusters, ridiculous late fees did. So Netflix is very easy, cheap nowadays. Airbnb, why? Because the hotels were charging more. Affordability was brought in. In Airbnb, you can travel as less. Uber did not kill the taxi business, limited taxi access and fare controls. Yes, right. Earlier, I used to spend maybe 1,500 rupees, 1,300 rupees to go from my place to airport. Right now, in an Uber, I have to spend just 650 rupees. That's what the benefit of technology combined with new ideas. And we are getting into the last part, system. I don't have to speak much, only one slide. System is nothing but be an entrepreneur, not self-employed. This is extremely important. Anybody who wants to get into business, beware. Never be a self-employed guy. Self-employed guy will be working for himself all his life. Try to be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur starts business, creates systems, and ensures that it goes on well so that you can think about a new business. I repeat, entrepreneurs start business, makes it successful, makes good business out of that. They create systems and they make sure that their brain is used for a new business and they go on to become. If that has to happen, never be person driven, always be system driven. You have to have these three things if you want to be in these systems. Self-disciplined people have to be there in the organization. Disciplined actions, that is what the processes and self-disciplined systems have to be in place. If these three things are there, you will definitely have beautiful systems and you will be able to go. Let me get into the last part, that is being smart. Smart is only 4 points. Be a realistic optimist. We are in COVID times. We have got 3 options. 1, to be a pessimist. Number 2, to be an optimist. Or number 3, to be a realistic optimist. Who is a pessimist? A pessimist is a person who quits. I told you 3 things earlier. What is it? A pessimist is pessimist is a person who quits. And the second person, an optimistic is a person he waits. But a realistic optimist is a person who is positive about his future and he acts. A optimistic person, realistic optimist is an optimistic person who acts. So that is what is really required in the times to come. Then only you are going to be really, really successful. Invest in you to remain relevant. The biggest investment one has to make is in yourself. Try to become a good speaker. All of your students, I tell you, if you become a very good public speaker, if you become a very good communicator, if you become a very good presenter, you have an edge over the other person. Be more knowledgeable. Study which is beyond your curriculum. Have more experience. Have more examples. You are going to broaden your horizons and tomorrow you will be much more in demand. So expand your horizons of knowledge, expand your skills, and always keep upskilling and upgrading yourself. Associate with the right people, very important point. Try to make friendship, not with only your friends. Try to have Facebook friends. Try to have a friendship with people who are already successful in the domains, senior people. I try to associate with people who are better than me. Why should I do that? Only when I associate with people who are better than me, I get something out of that. So always try to associate with people who are good and better than you. You are going to get a lot out of that. You're going to get like ideas, a lot of get inspirations. Keep reinventing yourself. That is something you have to do. Every now and then, you have to be a better version of yourself. That is why we say Zoom, when you key in, they say new update is available. When you go into your mobile phone, smartphone, they say new update is available. Keep on updating yourself. Keep on reinventing yourself. Be smart and embrace the future. friends, and that is what? Right people on the right bus, right people on the right seats, delegate right, create that we feeling, and there we are. Support is the last point that I want to discuss. Right people on the right bus means you should have the right people in the organization. You must be the right person in that organization. Shiv Khera once asked, in one platform when I went there, he asked, Shiv Khera is a great trainer. He is also a wonderful motivator. He said, people are the greatest asset in the world. I raised the hand. Yes, you are perfectly right. He said, sorry, people are not the greatest asset. Good people are assets. Bad people are liabilities. What's it? Good people are assets. Bad people are liabilities. Don't be a liability, be an asset. Right people on the right seat. Delegation is the most important thing. Don't do everything. Micromanagement is bad. Delegate. We feeling. When you work in an organization, have that we feeling. If you start an organization, instill that we feeling in the people working with you, and that's what is going to take forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I really wanted to say. You have to go beyond the obvious, and we will be able to really do that. For 6 S's, you must always remember, and that's what I really wanted to tell you. 6 S's. Please remember those 6 S's. So, the first S was have a speciality. Number 2 is definitely you just had this. Number 2, you had something called, of course, scarcity. Number 3, you had something called simplifying. And number 4, you had something called speed. Number 5, you had something called system. And the number 6, you have something called support. So, and being support and smart. That is what really we were able to do. And ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure speaking to all of you. I would rather have you please note down my number. This is my WhatsApp number as well. I know that you may not have enough opportunity to speak to me and or ask questions. If there is any feedback that you want to give, please feel free to get back to me. And if there is anything that you want to ask me, please put a WhatsApp message or you just ring up to me. I will be able to speak to you. It was indeed a pleasure to be here in Marian College or Marian International Institute of Management. It was a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity that has been given to me by the principal of this institution, Reverend Dr. Reggie Palur, and also Samson Thomas sir for giving me this wonderful opportunity. It was a pleasure speaking to all of you. Thank you very much. I hope I was able to add some value to life on this particular day in the morning. Thank you so much, and over to the moderator.
Thank you, Harish sir. On behalf of Marian International Institute of Management, I take this opportunity to extend my gratitude to our beloved resource person Harish Kumar sir. And thank you for the wonderful session, and thank you participants. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Samson sir is there?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, what next?
Yeah, shall I end the meeting?
Absolutely no problem. You just ask the Samson sir and then do that, or rather principal and do that. Okay.
Sure.
If there is any question, I am ready to take it. But if time is not there, we will just leave it. Okay.
Yeah, we'll wait for the questions, and if not, we can wind up.
But definitely. I am there. If it all depends on your time.
Yes. So students, if you have any doubts, please ask, sir. You have a wonderful opportunity over here for Q&A.
Okay.
So shall we wind up?
1 second. One question has come is, can you suggest which industry will have more growth in future? Good question. Okay. If you have time, I will tell. Okay.
Please, yeah.
Deepak Rajan has raised the hand. I think he wants to ask a question anyway. And Amal Matthews' question is, can you suggest which industry will have more growth in the future? There are two kinds of future you have to look at this. One is immediate future and the long-term future. Immediate future, soon after COVID, if you look at it, you have to look at the industries which are dealing in need-based products. There are three kinds of products, I would say that. One is called the needs, one thing that deals with needs. Another one is on wants, and the third one is luxury. You can think about any product for that matter. Food is a need-based. Medicines, it's need-based. But if you're looking at maybe 10 lakh plus cars, it is more of wants. If you're looking at a 70 lakh or 80 lakh car, it's more of luxury. So which industry will have more growth depends on where you are right now in the immediate future. But in the long-term future, I think the strategies will play a big role. Can you suggest which industry? Means all kinds of industries. I said food industry is going to do exceptionally well, one industry. Automobile industry will do well, there is no doubt about it. Transportation related, all these things will go up. Telecommunication related will definitely go up. Technology driven businesses will definitely go up. So think in those lines. What is going to be scarce tomorrow? What is going to make people's life easy tomorrow? What those questions, what are the pain points that need to be solved? If at all you are able to be in that business, you are going to be in that business. Which industry means almost every industry which solves the problems or adds values of problems, add value to the lives of people. That is what. Okay. Sir, what about logistic industry? Definitely there is going to be a future. I am very, very, very positive about the future of the country. And when the future of the country is going to be better, if I believe that China, United States of America and the European countries are at least moving some of the manufacturing and the concentration from China to some other countries. Vietnam is having a good opportunity being taken away. Indonesia is taking away, but they will have to come to India because India has got the skilled labor. India has got such a human resource. So they will have to bring in manufacturing also to India, at least in few areas. When that comes, the logistics industry is going to grow places. There is no doubt about it. Still, our logistics industry is not that developed. Because of that, there is a tremendous scope. I strongly believe that logistics will be a good industry to definitely concentrate on. What about HRM in government structure? Government structure, I am not too sure about. Human resources management, yes, government structure also it will be there, but it will be more in the private sector for sure. Human resources management will be in demand. There is no doubt about that. HRM will be in demand because there will be new companies coming. There will be more industries coming. I am very, very positive about the growth story of India. India will definitely grow in the next 20 years. The COVID times will go away, and after that we are going to have a good future. If there is a good future, naturally human resources have to be made good. I said two things: good people and bad people are still there. So these bad people need to be turned around and the good people have to be made. Means naturally the HRM has a big role to play. Human resources management will have relevance, but of course it may not be in the kind of the learning and development which used to be there earlier. In the learning and development area, it's going to be more like videos, online, and all these things also will replace some of the person-to-person kind of things. HRM has definitely have a relevance, absolutely no doubt about that. Yes. Any other question? If not, we will. Okay, so what about hospitality management? Yes, hospitality management in the short run will face problems. Hospitality management includes hotels and all other areas. Hospitality management in the short term will have to wait a bit. We always speak about something called the V curve of recovery, W curve of recovery, U recovery, and finally something called the L recovery. V recovery means that whenever the business goes down, they will recover very fast. Some of them will be U. That means it has come down, it will remain low for some time and then only they will go up. W means it will go up, but it will again come down and it will go up. And finally, the L means some of the industries may not be able to come back at all. Hospitality management definitely has a future. There is no doubt about that. But the hospitality management will take some time to come back. Maybe a year will be really required to get their foot back on because of this COVID situation. Otherwise, it will definitely go. So what about tourism industry? Tourism industry in the short term will face problems, especially when it comes to foreign travel. But I am a strong believer that the tourism is going to really come back in maybe 3 months or 6 months time. With all social distancing. For example, let me offer this. I love traveling. Along with family, I make sure that every 3 months I go somewhere and spend some time. Suppose Alappuzha, there is a resort, let us imagine. And that resort, if at all, they are offering a facility, and the facility is such that, okay, out of the 30 rooms we have, we are going to let out only 15 rooms or 10 rooms if they just declare early. That means the crowd will be less there. Number two, they say that all kinds of precautions which is necessary for COVID, like social distancing and all protections will be taken care. If at all they are able to reassure me, I am a person who might go for that tour. Absolutely no doubt. So human spirit is such. Humans cannot be chained like that. But there is going to be a change in the way this tourism industry is going to function, at least in the next 2 years. In basically speaking, tourism industry is an industry which will be affected, but you will have to have new strategies. Suppose somebody says that Taj hotel in Cochin, there, if at all you have to go and stay there, you have to pay something like 8,000 to 10,000 rupees per room per day. If they offer something like, we are going to offer you for 3,000 rupees or 3,500 rupees, I am sure that there are going to be takers. It depends on the strategies they play out. So tourism industry will definitely be able to survive and come. It's going to be a bit difficult, but they will have to really have new strategies to work out and come out. There is no doubt about that. Right now, you can see that those people who are coming from abroad, they have to be in quarantine for some time. And a lot of resorts have opened up. They have approached government and said, we are ready to offer the quarantine facility. And a lot of hotels are doing that. And they are making money out of that. So you have to be very, very adaptive. You have to be very flexible if at all you want to do that. Somebody was asking about the logistic and transportation. My daughter was in Chennai. She's doing chartered accountancy. She has completed her intermediate and she was doing her final. She was stuck there. She could not come. And 2 weeks back, now she's 20 days, she was back. She has come back and she had to come back. And there were some travelers who were going all the way from Cochin and bringing people from there. They were using that opportunity. They were not waiting. They were actually acting. That is what they did. And they were able to have good business happening. So it's all about strategies. Are you able to really have good strategies to overcome the tough times? It depends on that. Tourism industry, I think, will do well. But of course, short term, it's going to be a big challenge. But long term, they will definitely do well. Tourism is improving, increasing. People love to travel these days. What about new and different structures after COVID-19? There is going to be a new normal. There is going to be a BC and AC. Nothing but before COVID and after COVID for sure. There is no doubt about that. And what about the new and different structures? Structures in the sense, you mean to say the business, correct? In the business structures, how is it going? Some businesses will fail and some businesses will definitely grow. Those businesses which are going to fail are people who are not going to be adaptable. It is a VUCA world, whether we like it or not. It is going to be volatile, it's going to be uncertain, it's going to be complex, and it's going to be ambiguous. But you can definitely overcome this. But what you need to have vision to counter the volatility, and you need to have new systems and new structures and new modifications and new changes that you have to bring in. And new structures will definitely happen, but that is for good only. Every now and then there will be new structures that will be happening. COVID also will bring it. There is no doubt about that. You must be the people who will be thinking about bringing in new structures, that I would say. Okay. Good that people came out with some questions, and I believe I was able to answer in my own way. If you're not satisfied with the answers, please find it out yourself, because the world is on your fingertips. The world is on your fingertips. You have got a lot of experts in this world whom you will be able to contact, and you will be able to get more information on the questions that you asked. Whatever thoughts that came to my mind, all of a sudden I said, that's all. Anyway, thank you so much. It was a great pleasure to be here. And I could really see that there were a good number of participants who were really hungry to learn and have new knowledge about things. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Okay?
Yes. Yes, sir.
If there is nothing more, you can end the meeting.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Thank you.